Hi guys, Kathleen here. This is like take 3, 4, I don't know. It's raining buckets outside, so hopefully this video quality is going to be okay. I do actually have notes today. Voila. So we'll start off by thanking all of my existing viewers who are coming back. I really appreciate you guys coming back and watching again. It really is fun for me to be able to provide an update on what's going on here as far as yarny and crafty projects and what's going on with the chickens and life in general. And if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for joining me. I do want to take a moment and thank Jordan and Yolanda of Happee Knits on YouTube for giving me a shout out in one of their last episodes. They, I think it was maybe a month ago or so, maybe a little longer, that I had talked on the phone with Yolanda about a project that I was working on, a teaching. No, people are awake upstairs. You might hear noises. You might hear people talking because everybody's home. Anyway, so so Yolanda and I had talked on the phone about something, and she mentioned that she would give my podcast a shout out. Thank you so much, because I did get some new viewers as a result. Let's talk about where you can find me. I am on Ravelry as K Hollerbach, and I am on Instagram as the Purl Nest. And I'm most active on Instagram, not quite as active on Ravelry. I'm lucky if my projects make it onto Ravelry. Some of my latest projects are not on there, but I am on Instagram, and you will see me there most of the time. So let's jump into what I've been working on. I love my Row 1 Yarn Carnival of Color subscription. They do not sponsor me, by the way. You could, Row 1 Yarn if you want. You could, because I absolutely love the yarns. I get them every month. I think there's 10 of them that come each month, and they're little pre-wound balls of yarn. I think they're 10 grams, and I get the fingering weight. I have been making those along with some collected stash yarn over the years, scraps of fingering weight yarn. I am turning those into a blanket. Haha. So I am doing these little filled granny squares, and they're so much fun to make. They are like potato chip crochet in that you can't do just one. And I think the last time I podcast and showed them, I believe I had this much. Yes? I think that's right. Well, now I have this much, and I have this much, and I have, it's not even going to fit on the screen. I have this much. So I have enough right now to make probably a baby blanket, but I am looking to make a throw for the couch. So I probably need like 5 times what I have here. I don't know. But it's really making progress, and partly because it's so addictive to crochet those, and they're so portable. I mean, these little projects are so tiny. I could put them in my purse and pretty much take them anywhere. So I've been working on that. I have to admit that sometimes I don't do my knitting because this is so addictive and I love doing it. So let's see. So yes, so I've been working on that, and I also have been teaching classes, or I should say I taught a series of classes at My Sister Knits, my local yarn shop. It is in Fort Collins, Colorado, and it is probably the best yarn shop in the world, in my opinion. And those gals asked me if I would teach sock knitting 2 at a time. So I just taught these 2 at a time socks. I'm going to hold for a second. And we're back. Like I said, everybody's home and up and around now, and so it's going to be a little noisier. So I was saying that I am teaching the 2 at a time technique at my local yarn shop, My Sister Knits. I just finished a series of classes on the first series of classes on making socks 2 at a time. And this is where my microphone is. This is the sample that I'm working on for the shop. So I'll get these to the point where there's heels on both of them and give them to the shop to keep for samples for the class. So they'll be incomplete, but it will show that there's 2 at a time on the needles. The yarn I'm using is Emma's yarn. And this is Crazy Beautiful Color in their Practically Perfect Sock base, 80/20 merino nylon, 400 yards, 100 grams. The color is Ice Ice Baby. And it really is like the coolest, like, I don't know if you would call it ice, but maybe like an iceberg. You see all the beautiful blue colors in an iceberg. Yeah, so those are going to be a sample for the shop. But in my class, I don't know what I was thinking, because I used worsted weight, because I figured, you needed to see something big to see the stitches. I used worsted weight yarn, and I did 2 at a time, but I cast on 64. Like, I should have done kid size socks or something, because in my sample that I was going along in the class with, this is what I ended up with. I mean, it's not a complete sock because it doesn't have a toe on it. I mean, it doesn't have a foot either. But, I mean, like, it's as big as my head. This is worsted weight yarn. This is Kenzie yarn. And I did 2 different colors to teach the class, so you could see which one was sock number 1 and which one was sock number 2. So you could tell when I'm dropping the yarn from sock 1 and picking up the yarn for sock 2. So you could see the whole process, which I thought made a lot of sense, doing 2 different colors. What I didn't realize is that fingering weight yarn for the socks for the class probably was asking a lot of the students. Even though they were supposed to already know how to knit socks, this is really just a technique class, they were struggling a bit. So I think when I teach the class again in July, I think I'm going to do with DK weight yarn, because I think it'll just be easier. So just a vanilla sock, I just teach a vanilla sock. And I use the German short row heel. So that's the way I teach it. So I'll be teaching that again in July. And then in September, I think it is, I'll be teaching sleeves 2 at a time. And then October or November, I'll be teaching mittens 2 at a time. So basically anything that's a tube you knit up, I will be teaching how to do it 2 at a time. The technique can be applied to any tubular knitting where you have pairs of things or multiples of things. You can easily do them multiples at a time. I got a really great idea from Yolanda at Happee Knits. She recently knit 4 at a time, and that really inspired me to try to teach this class, because I was like, that's awesome to have 2 pairs of socks finished at once. So I called her and talked to her on the phone for a little bit. That's how she and I got connected, and she mentioned me in her podcast because she and I had talked on the phone. She is, by the way, as amazing like in real life as she is on her podcast. So there's that. So the class went really well. All of the students caught on. I mean, you have to wrap your brain around wrapping the yarn, the way the yarn goes around. I say it's kind of like knitting in one big circle, but you're going to end up with 2 socks in the end. The cast on part is the trickiest part. So so that's going really well. I'll teach that again in July. Then I'll teach the sleeves, then I'll teach the mittens. I'm really looking forward to those. Let's see, what do I have next? Hold please. Okay, where was I do not remember. So we'll take a look at our show notes here and see. Let's talk about I did order some bare yarn from Knit Picks. What I do my label. It is merino style from Knit Picks. I put the picture of the yarn on my Instagram. It is non-superwash merino wool, and it is 246 yards, 100 grams, and it's the bare yarn. So right now I have my avocado pits on a pot in the stove, and they are cooking away to try and get the color out. I only did pits this time. I didn't do the skins as well, because I felt like the skins probably turned it that funny orangey color. But now that I'm looking at the pits cooking on the stove, I'm getting a little worried because they still look orangey. I'm kind of worried about putting my yarn in the dye bath. Actually, this may end up completely getting aborted. We shall see. But the yarn is mordanted, so it's ready to go. And yeah, so we'll see how that turns out. I'll put some video in at the end of some of that dyeing process. Next thing we'll talk about is the Cardi Mal through Happee Knits, the Happee Knits podcast, as I mentioned before. She is doing a make-along, and it is for a cardigan. I think she's being pretty generous in what people are considering cardigans, but you could crochet it, you could knit it, I guess you could sew it. It is running through the end of July. I believe it was just extended. And this is my contribution, or my project. This is the Felix cardigan, and I am almost through the yoke, and I'm just now, I think I'll be splitting for the sleeves soon. But this is merino wool and silk, undyed from Dyer Supplier. I originally was going to dye this yarn and decided I really liked the way it looked in the bare color, and so instead decided to make this cardigan. And this is Aran weight, I believe, and I decided to make this cardigan instead out of the bare wool. And I'm just loving how it's knitting up. You can see the sheen from the silk in there. So turning out really well. I'm almost at the point, I believe, of splitting for the sleeves, so I should be able to hopefully make some quick progress after that. It is knit back and forth. It's flat knitting, but I do it on circulars. I think the pattern even calls for circulars because there's a lot of volume to try to knit up, but you do, it is knit flat, so back and forth. So you are purling too, but I don't mind purling. I'm a process knitter and it doesn't bother me at all. So that is that. And let's see, next I have a couple pair of socks. I already showed you the sample socks, but not gotten very far on these. These are my Petty Harbor socks, mostly, and those are on Polka Dot Sheep. This is the Skein of Thrones series, and the color is Melisandre. And this is on her, what base is this? This is on the Tenderfoot 80/20 base. This yarn I got when I was traveling and I went to Montana in September, and this was kind of my souvenir. I haven't gotten far because I've been working on the sample socks for the store that I showed you, and honestly, and of course the Cardi that I'm working on, and honestly, crocheting all the squares because they're a little addictive. So those are the things. I think that's all of my works in progress. I don't have anything finished, honestly, since the last time, because I cast on a whole bunch of stuff, and that's not like me. Let's see. Next, we've got favorite podcasts. So lately I've been watching, and it's because I haven't started watching it till recently, The Bearded Purl and Needles at the Ready. Those two are my, because I just found them. I mean, they've been around for a long time. I just started watching them recently, so now I have all these past episodes I can watch, so I'm binging those. Happee Knits, I'm already 100% caught up on, so I have to wait till she puts out, Ilana and Jordan put out new ones before I can watch, but that's also a favorite podcast. And of course, Chelsea Yarns also, she seems to go a pretty long period of time between episodes, much like myself, and so there's not a whole lot of episodes to watch yet, but I've been binge watching Bearded Purl. I think I've watched all of those actually already, and now I'm working my way through Needles at the Ready. Love those podcasts, so if you're looking for something new to watch, give them a try. And I think that's it. I will put some video in here at the end of the coop cleaning, and we did the semi-annual coop cleaning. I did the semi-annual coop cleaning yesterday. This is May 30th, by the way, 2021. And yesterday, can you see out there? It's like raining cats and dogs today. Yesterday was the one day of the weekend that I had any shot at getting it clean because it was mostly dry. I think it started raining in the afternoon, and you need a dry day to clean a big chicken coop like I have, 12 feet by 12 feet. And so, yeah, I should have done it a month ago, but it's been raining every weekend, and like I said, you need a dry day. you can't do this in the rain. So I did that yesterday, and today it's raining buckets. So that's, I'll put some video up. I think I have some before and after video of the coop cleaning, and then I will put some video in of the yarn dyeing, how it's going with the avocados, and that's about it. I will check in with you guys hopefully in another 2 or 3 weeks. Fingers crossed. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye. So my yarn is mordanted, which is nice. Got a little tangled up when I was mordanting it, but it's still damp. It's gonna have to dry out for a few days. These I did this morning, put them up to dry. These I just put in here now. I was going to dye with avocado pits, and the dye turned orange. Don't want orange. So I just ordered some cochineal bugs, some cochineal extract, and as soon as that comes, we'll try doing it with the cochineal. So for now, we're just gonna let it dry out. It's coop cleanup day. Got my bedding. Yo, this is what you need in your coop. Got some feed. Got my poop board sand. Here we go. Hey guys, we're gonna get some before and after video, the coop clean. So, you know, a little dusty. All dirty. Reverse this. Come on, let me reverse you. Okay, you're not reversing. Whatever. So, there's the coop. 2 girls in the nest. That'll be interesting, because they don't like to be disturbed. Started cleaning the poop board, as you can see, and all this is gross. Yep, all this bedding, it's all gonna go. Now fresh bedding, gonna clean it all up. It'll be nice and sparkly clean in a few hours. That is. See you soon. Okay. Oh man, this is always a big job. But look at this. This gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous clean poop board. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. I do have to get more bedding for the nests. And then there's fresh bedding in here. Oh, I wish I had smell-o-vision because it smells like pine trees in here. I don't put it back there. They'll kick it back there, but I don't put it back there because, well, I actually need 2 more bags. And most of the poop goes on the poop board when they're sleeping at night. That's where the majority of it goes. So I'm gonna get another bag or 2, maybe today or tomorrow, and make this bedding a little bit thicker and cover that just like a thin layer, because they don't really poop under there. And if I put it under there, that corner right there is where I've got one that will actually sleep down there, and she gets poop everywhere. But if there's none in there, then hopefully she won't try and sleep in there. We shall see. Anyway, it smells really good. It looks nice and clean. Yeah. And people, this is what a clean coop looks like.